Hi guys, I'm back with another pocket page process video, and this one is going to be the pockets that go on the back and front of this two-page spread that I did in the month of, I think it might have been April? May? Yep, I think I didn't do any scrapping in May, any pocket scrapping. So this will be picking up where that one left off. And what I'm doing here is I just have a little tiny piece of the glam bags that I get. They come in a hot pink mailer in the mail, and that's actually how it shows up in my mailbox. It's really pretty, and so I wanted to take a piece of the bubble wrap from that mailer and use it as a mat for the back of my photo. Most of my photos here are printed at 2x2, which just makes it a simpler process for deciding which photos go where, because a 2x2 can fit anywhere. And so I wanted an arrow, and there were no arrows in the kit this month. I'm using the This Life, sorry about that. I'm using the This Life Noted kit for the month of June here. I'm going to grab into some old kits as well towards the end, but for now I'm just using the June kit. And I wanted to make that little arrow because there were no arrows in the kit. I took that from my stash. It's just a wood veneer arrow, and I wanted to make it match with the Fresh Picks font in the card that's going to be right above this. So this is going to be a 3x4 card that will be right below a 4x6 card, and so I want it to point up so that you know that these two cards go together. And I'm going to do my journaling on this 4x6 card above it. So this is just decorating right here. So now I'm just going to use my glossy accents to attach that arrow. It's really pretty green. I love that Hero Arts neon ink. It's really vibrant. And now I'm just thinking about what I'm going to do with this, and I've decided I'm just going to journal right on it instead of doing anything fancy. I didn't want to cover up any of the little scrolly things that were on the edges of that. I guess, I don't know if you want to call it a logo or just a design there. So I'm just talking about how I got my first kit and really liked all of the things in it. The glam bags are just little samples of beauty supplies that they send you each month, and it's sort of customized to you so that you fill out this questionnaire that says like your coloring and the kinds of products that you like, and then every month they send you a little glam bag of samples. It just gives you a chance to try different beauty products. I was feeling like I was in a bit of a funk using the same makeup for like 15 years, so I decided to just kind of try something new. So now I have a couple of photos that are 3x4 photos, and I will talk about those when I get to do them. First I'm going to do this little 2x2. So as I think I mentioned at the beginning, I've been cutting all of my photos, or printing them at 2x2 and then cutting them with a white border around them, and then I can always cut off the border if I don't want it, and that really simplifies the process for me. And then any photos that I take that were not Instagrammed or that have a vertical orientation, so the portrait ones like that bunny picture over there to my right, those ones I print at 3x4 and then I stick them into a 3x4 pocket. So I love those little wood veneer push pin shapes. When I first saw them in the kit, I wasn't exactly sure how I would use them, but I really love them just on the edge of a little banner or something, so it looks like the banner is pinned in. I mean, it doesn't really look like that, but it's kind of, I like the look anyways. So I've been enjoying using those. The kit came with, I think, 3 of them in 3 different sizes. So now what I want to do is use these 3x4 photos, and I'm going to mat them on paper because I don't want to use up any of the cards, because it's going to cover the cards, and I love all the cards too much. So I just spread them out so I could get a sense of what the color scheme was, and then I went to my new 6x6 paper pack of Life Capture Life, I think is the name of the collection, by Echo Park. And a lot of that came in the scrapbooking kit this month, and I've been loving the color scheme and the patterns that come with that collection. So I wanted to pick a pattern that wasn't too busy because I don't want it to compete with the photo, but I did want to add a little bit of visual interest around the photo. So rather than matting it on white, which is what I will sometimes do with these photos, I decided to mat it on just a plainish patterned paper. And the guide for that trimmer does pop out if you need it to, so I got some adhesive on the bottom of it, so I just popped it out so I could detach my photo and make sure that the guide was clean. So there are my two matted 3x4 photos, and it didn't cut into my cards. Not that, I mean, there's plenty of cards in the kit, but I just didn't want to use a card for that and then regret it later, so I just decided to use pattern paper for that. Now I did go off to my trimmer and cut up all of the cut aparts from Ormolu that came in the kit, and I'm missing in action right now. I don't know what I'm doing, but oh yes, I was looking for my Studio Calico labels. These came in the This Life Noted kit last month. Yes, so the month of May, and I really loved them, and I made sure that I left them in with my pocket scrapbooking stuff so that I could continue to use them in months to come. So many came in that kit that it will be that stash of labels will last me for a very long time. So I'm outlining this. It doesn't make that much of a difference. The photo's already pretty dark, but I don't know. I thought I'd give it a try. And now I'm also going to outline these labels. And the reason I'm doing that is that the photo is quite dark, and the labels are looking very white and bright on the background of the dark photo, and the placement of the labels kind of covers up some of the more distracting and messy elements in my house. And so I want this photo to really focus on the cat tree and not be distracted by some of the family photos and clutter and stuff that was on the console table beside it. So I wanted to put labels there, and it also gives me a place to do some journaling, but I just needed to bring a little bit of the darkness out of the photo and onto the labels. Just a tiny bit is all that I really needed to make it look a little bit less like a stark contrast between the dark photo and the white labels. And then of course my journaling provides even more darkness or weight, I guess, to this journaling piece. Yeah, I'm thinking about putting some more sequins on there, but I decided not to. So here I am outlining again. This time it's not showing up on the camera just because it's so reflective, but it's there now, you can see it. I did outline right on the photo, and a lot of markers will work on photos. Almost all of the markers that I've ever tried have worked fine on photos, so you don't have to worry about that. Even though it is a slick surface, the the surface seems to really absorb the pens, and actually I find it's a really great smooth marking surface. Photos are. So I did my journaling on the little Ormolu card and glued it down, and now I'm going to put another one of those push pins. And there we go. Pardon me. So now I'm just kind of taking stock of what cards I have done. I'm not setting them out or designing like the overall page. All I'm doing is I know I want for each page, I want 4 4x6 pieces and 4 3x4 pieces. So I'm not really thinking too much about what's going to go where, or what matches with what, or how it's going to look in the overall page protector. I'm just trying to make 4 for each, like 1 for each slot in a page protector, and then I'll figure out where they go later. And that's sort of my new way of doing it. I used to lay them all out and make each card and decide where it was going to go. But now, with the exception of a couple of cards that are connected, like related to one another, that I have arrows going to and from, and so I want to make sure that they will kind of line up beside or underneath one another. For the most part, I just treat each card as an individual card, and I don't design based on the overall layout. And I kind of like my pocketed pages to be kind of like a hodgepodge of a whole bunch of stuff, and it doesn't really have to coordinate and flow within the page. I consider each pocket to be individual. And with the cards all matching in the This Life Noted kit, it really makes that easy to pull off, right? So I don't have to think too much about it because Caitlin has already figured it out, and so I just can put them all together and they look pretty good. So here I'm using that Weekend wood veneer, which I love, and I don't typically dye or ink my wood veneer just because I am a wood lover. I love unfinished wood, so I don't typically want to cover it up. I just had to check my phone there and make sure that this picture was indeed taken on a weekend. I was pretty sure that May 3rd fell on the weekend. It's the anniversary of my dad's passing, and so I do remember doing our bikes that day, but I couldn't remember whether it was a day off or the weekend, but it was the weekend. So, and that is a larger Instagram. So when I'm printing up my photos, I will print almost all of them as 2x2s. But if there's anything that I know I want to focus on, either I have a bigger story for, or I really like the photo, then I will print that one in a 3x3 or a 3.8 by 3.8 so that it will fit on a 4x6 card. And so that was the only one of those for this month. But sometimes I might have one or two of those. So, and then of course I also had a couple of those 3x4s that you already saw me mat and put aside. So here I want to spell out vanity, and I'm not entirely sure what my title is going to be for this card at this point, but I know it's going to include the word vanity. So I just had to make sure that the letters are going to stick there, are going to fit. And so I kind of pre-spelled it out with the stamps, and now I'm just taking these stickers. Sorry, my husband just came and put a strawberry shortcake beside me for me to eat, which I won't be able to eat till I'm done. So sorry about that. So yes, I'm just taking those stickers that came in the kit. They're those snap stickers, and I love that the kits come with those stickers because they coordinate with one another from month to month, and so I like the consistency. Even though I just said that I don't mind my pocket pages being a mishmash of a variety of different looks, I do love having the consistency of having that font all through my pages in different colors, because each month we get a different color. Some months I think we even get two colors of them. So for this I'm using the coral color of Stampin' Up! Ink. The name of it is escaping me, but it's got coral in the name, and I absolutely love that color. It is one of my favorite oranges, and yeah, it really coordinates nicely with this kit, with the other cards in the kit, so that's why I chose it. And this font is one of the coolest fonts I've ever seen. I absolutely love these stamps, and I didn't get to use them too much this month, but I know I will use them in future months, so love them. Oh, I'm just gonna shift those down a little bit. They looked a little bit too floaty. I wanted to anchor them with the word below them. And now it's a little tricky because there's no line there to line them up, and so I'm just kind of taking my time to get them looking the way I want them to look. So I'm sorry this is a very long video. The last video that I did for a pocket page process video. I'm just erasing that little guidance line that I wrote there, just to make sure that the word vanity wasn't too slanty. I'm thinking about, I'm going to put the word thing under this, and I thought about using another stamp set, but I'm going to go back to the same letters. So yes, this video I think is 37 minutes long, so I do apologize for the length of it. The last time I did a process pocket page video, it was it was equally long. So what I did was I made it a lot more sped up, and I did get a couple of complaints that it was just too fast. So I left this one on the same speed that I do my layouts, and I do take longer to do pocket pages than I take to do 12 by 12 layouts. So I think this took over 2 hours to do altogether, and so it's a longer video because of that. So I've got a couple of more photos here that I want to, get into the pockets, and I really want to use this yes, no on the Fresh Prince one. So I'm going to put that aside for a minute, and there's no rhyme or reason to this. I'm just kind of looking at my photos, looking at the cards, and then if something sticks out that, oh, that card can go with that photo, then I'll go ahead and work on that. So that's sort of how I'm doing it. And now this green card kind of stuck out as something that might work with the Fresh Prince photo, so I'm just going to trim it down. I wasn't sure if I would want to use the whole email, like it was an email from Netflix saying that the Fresh Prince is now available. So I cut off the email part of it because I decided I wasn't going to use it. Sorry, I'm a bit out of frame here. There you go. And I'm going to trim it up. Using my trimmer just makes sure that everything is all even and right angles and that sort of thing. So I'm going to trim up the photo as well. I'm going to leave the Netflix logo up there just because it's a reflection of our current life. I don't know if we'll always be as into Netflix as we are now, but I try to leave those sorts of little details hanging around my pocket pages so that someday we'll look back and say, oh yeah, remember back when we used to do Netflix all the time. Who knows what will replace it someday, but you never know, right? So I'm just trimming that down so that it looks like it's like a yes, no for, do you like the Fresh Prince or not? And I'm going to do some journaling with my orange Staedtler fine liner. Somewhere along the way I've lost a couple of my fine liners, and so I went looking for them at my art store and I couldn't find them. So I'm on the lookout for a set of Staedtler fine liners because I love them and I am missing some of my colors, and eventually they're going to run out. They're not yet, but I'm a little worried that I won't be able to replace them when they run out. So I've had these for many, many years, these Staedtler fine liner pens. And I also use the Staedtler Lumo color for any slick surfaces. So I just did a bit of doodling on the chevron part of the bottom of that. And again, that just kind of brings some of the orange out of the photo and into the card. So there, I have a full page there. And now I'm going to move on and start working on the second page. There's my little marker supply. That's just my favorite markers, my most used markers. I have more than that, but I'm a bit of a marker addict, so I was trying to decide how to use this card in a way that is different from the ways that I've used these cards so far. Every month we get a wood veneer card, and they're beautiful just as they are, and a lot of times I just leave them as they are. The other thing I will often do is just swipe an ink pad over them, and then the ink sticks to the light parts, but it doesn't stick to the dark parts because the dark parts are slightly recessed, and so that makes for a really beautiful look as well. But in this case, I'm going to do some doodling with my markers, and it's not very creative doodling, it's just kind of following the lines of the letters, and I've picked out some colors that coordinate with some of the other colors in this kit, the oranges and the teal blue. I'm not going to end up using the green. I just grabbed that in case I needed it. And then yellow in the middle. I'm going to mess up on the B. I didn't I don't know, I think I just went into autopilot mode for my outlining and forgot what I was doing, and I did end up messing up the bee, but that's okay. At this point, I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with the circles, so I'm just leaving them for now. I'm kind of courting the idea of putting sequins in them, but I have done that before, so, and it's fine to do the same thing. I'm just, you know, trying to think about some new ways to do things. So here's where I just kind of like, that bee looks weird. I didn't outline it properly. I should have made like one continuous line instead of little. Anyhow, it's done. And you can't even tell, right? I mean, that's the great thing about pardon me, pocket pages in particular, is that there's so much to take in that if there's something that's a little wonky or weird or not turned out the exact way that you want it to be, it's really, it doesn't stand out. Like your mistakes kind of get blended in with all the beautiful cards and the stuff that turned out right. And so that's one of the things that I really love about pocket pages, is that there's so much going on. You can really, it kind of frees you up to try new things and to not feel like, oh my goodness, like the, you know, how much I like this layout is totally going to depend on this thing I'm doing right now, because it's not. It's just one element. And if it turns out really terrible, you can just not even use it, right? You just put a different 3x4 card in there. So I did end up going with the idea of drawing circles, so more doodles on the circles of this one. And I like it as it is, but it's looking a little flat, so I am going to add some sequins there, but I'm not doing it yet apparently. So I love this ampersand card, but I can't figure out how to use it with any of my photos this month, so I'm going to kind of move on and do something else for a minute. I just stapled that photo of my daughter and Charlie there, and I'm going to do some journaling about it. And I'm using, this is a Recollections pen that I got from Michael's. It's just over in the scrapbooking section where the scrapbooking pens are, and I really like it. It's a nice fine tip, and it writes really smoothly, and I love the color. It's just something different than black, right? So yeah, I'm just journaling about just the fact that that was one of the last pictures we have of Olivia with, it's not the last one, but it's one of the last ones, with Charlie, who had to be rehomed not too long ago due to allergies. Well, not allergies, but asthma, I guess. Well, my husband has allergies and asthma, and yeah, his doctor said that the dog pretty much had to go, so it was a sad thing, but yeah, anyways, we have we know somebody who's involved with a dog rescue, and so he was rehomed in a really responsible kind of way, you know, through an organization that interviews and makes sure that he's going to a good home. Did a better job of figuring that stuff out than we could have done on our own, so that was really great that we had help with that, and we can feel confident that he's off to a home that will treat him well. So I am just doing another 2x2 photo here. This is my sister-in-law and Olivia, and she is a very fun person. My kids absolutely love her. So I love that picture of Jen and Livy together. So I had to get that one documented. I'm going to ink this wood veneer. So another wood veneer from my stash. Again, just because there weren't any arrows in this kit, so I'm just reaching into my stash for arrows. I love using arrows on my pocket pages because it helps you connect two pockets together and know that they go together, so you can look for the extra information on the pocket next door or the pocket above. So here's my journaling. I don't remember what I said, but it was something about how much fun Jen is. And that's going to go beside the card with the wood veneer card. Bring on the fun. So I am sprinkling some sequins, and because I put sequins on that one, I kind of felt like I needed to put sequins on this one too. So there are 3 large circles here. I'm going to put orange sequins in the centers of all of that. I just had to dump out a bit more to get more orange. I'm going to put orange sequins in the center of each of the largest ones, which forms a nice triangle. And then it kind of felt a little, I don't know, so I decided to put enamel dots in the centers just for a little something else. And I quite like that. It brings some yellow into it, and there's already yellow in the outlining, so it looks pretty good. Now I did have to print up another photo because I had forgotten. I thought I had printed this one and then I couldn't find it, so I just printed it now. And I have 2 pictures of my daughter's bunk beds. So she did get bunk beds in kind of late May and early June. So I'm going to use this June card, but I'm kind of thinking about what I'm going to do. This photo will obviously cover all of the month of June, which is fine because I don't often use those cards. Not sure what I'm going to do right now. Oh yes, I know what I'm doing. I am looking for a stamp because I had a feeling there was a stamp somewhere that was like a painted heart, and I thought if I use some mists, because I wanted to get kind of like a watercolor effect, but I'm lazy and I don't like bringing out my paints. I would rather use something that's right at hand instead of dragging out paint supplies and having to clean up. I mean, you got to clean up anyways, but anyways. So I have 3 shades of Heidi Swapp Color Shine, and I'm just going to dip into it and put some random hearts all over the place. The gold isn't showing up all that well, but that's okay. And then the orange color. So I'm adding a little bit of gold there just because the gold was so light that I wanted to go back over it and make it a little bit heavier so it would stand out. You're not going to see a lot of that because it will be covered by the photo, but that was a lot of fun to do. And now it occurred to me that, wait a minute, I have 2 photos, so maybe I will, on the same topic, so maybe I'll make another card with the same design on it. So I took a, whoops, and that's when my power went out. Yeah, so, yeah, and there's no windows in my scrap room, so that scared the crap out of me. I was like, whoa. So anyways, I ran upstairs and got a flashlight, and I'm just going to gather all of my supplies up and take this show on the road because I can't stay here or you guys wouldn't be able to see anything. So here I am in my backyard, and look, it was a beautiful day, and I was down here in my scrap room. And so this really kind of, man, it almost seemed like it was karma kicking me out of the basement and sending me outside. It was nice. And this has really made me want to do this more. Anyhow, I brought this Project Life box out, this Becky Higgins box, because I thought it would be windy out. It ended up, it wasn't windy at all. I have scrapbooked outside before and things were flying everywhere. And so I brought that box because it has an easy to open and close lid that I could put some stuff in. Sorry, this is really slow. I don't think I sped this up again. Anyhow, I will stop and speed this up. Okay, so anyhow, it took me a few minutes to set up, and I don't know where I'm at now. Okay, there we go. There we go. So back to where I left off, I did end up getting enough hearts before the power went out to, I was going to actually fill that up with hearts, but having a space in the middle ended up being good because I'm going to put some journaling there. I'm going to journal right over it, but I kind of like that there's a gap in the hearts on the 3x4 card. So that little clip was the perfect color for that, for the hearts that are already on the card. So I put the clip there. I kind of found it hard to get my mojo out here. Like I was kind of distracted. There were birds singing and there was a lot going, like it was just like a lot of stimulation. And so I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do with this sticker, and it took me a while to get going outside, but once I did, I finished off the layout, and it was a great experience. So I'm definitely going to be going outside to scrapbook more. So I'm again grabbing some wood veneer. I had to take my flashlight downstairs to get those because I didn't bring them up initially. And just this asterisk. I love asterisks too. And it just gives me a nice little something there to kind of anchor the clip. The clip was kind of looking a little bit out of sorts, so I just needed something else there. So pardon me, I feel like I'm losing my voice here. This is the second photo of the bunk beds. And I just wanted to, the reason I included two pictures is that this one shows just how cozy it is right up there in her sleeping area. And, and I just really love this photo, so I wanted to include it. I don't usually include two photos of a thing. Usually if I'm doing two cards, it's one card has the photo and maybe a title, and then the other card has the journaling that goes with it. Pardon me. So this is a photo of my husband and a monkey. It's one of those kind of inside jokes. Pardon me. Oh my goodness. I'll get through this video. Yeah, so his hair was really puffy and he kept on not getting a haircut, and we were teasing him a lot about how puffy his hair was. And then he was watching on his phone, he saw this picture of this monkey with really crazy hair. And I said, his hair isn't as crazy as yours, or something like that. So anyways, I took a picture of him and the monkey because I couldn't tell whose hair was crazier. So I'm really liking how that OK tag looks when it's trimmed down without the white border on it. So and then this is an ampersand wood veneer from a previous, not a future kit. I don't have stuff from future kits. So, and I dropped it right on the card, and so I had to wipe the glue off, but it came off okay. It says, whose hair is crazier, Scott's or this monkey's? And so I have a couple more photos to do, and I have more photos than I have cards that I need to do at this point. So I'm just going to think about which photos I definitely want to have included. And this picture of my sequins is definitely something I want it to kind of make it into the pages. And I really love this pattern. I don't know why I had not noticed this card before, but I love it. It looks like little slices of citrus. And so I'm putting a single yellow sequin there, and then I thought maybe I'll add a couple of gray sequins because it's a picture of sequins, right? So I got to put some more than one sequences on there, right? So, but that's too much. So I'm going to go with, I think that right there is what I'm going to end up with. No, stop it. That's overboard. There we go. So there, a part of me just wanted to put sequins in every circle on that card, but I didn't do that. I refrained. So then that's some lip scrub. I don't think that's going to make it into the project this time around. Might make it next time. Sometimes if I have a couple of extra, I'll just put them in the pile for next month's pages. And that's just a picture of a new beer that one of the local beer companies, well, one of the Canadian beer companies is making this summer, and we tried it and really loved it, so I took a picture. And that's a heart wood veneer outline shape from a previous kit as well. It's from a previous This Life Noted kit, maybe from February, I think. And now I definitely want to get this coffee on as opposed to the other coffee picture, because this one has this awesome coffee cozy in it, and that is something that a YouTuber sent me, and I absolutely love it. And it's kind of sweet because she said that it made her think of me, like that she thought that I would like the chevrons and the pattern on it, and she's absolutely right. I absolutely love it. So So yeah, I'm just trying to think about how I'm going to layer everything together here, and I am going to run my ink pad over this banner, this wood veneer banner. I'm making a bit of a mess, and because I'm not in my craft room, I don't have my baby wipes with me and stuff. But one tip is if you put like a scrap piece of paper over something and then pull it through the ink pad, then you can press on it and not get your hands all full of ink, right? You just press on the paper and then just the back side of the paper gets messy. So I didn't have a scrap paper, so I just used the back side of the labels. So that's what I was doing there. And it just helps get ink on all of the wood veneer. So again, I feel like something needs to be labeled here, but I don't know what. Layered. Did I say labeled? Something needs to be layered here, but I don't know what. But it's not going to be that because that didn't look right. So I decided to pull out this little person, this little female person. I think she's the last female I have in my box of people. And I really like her there. She looks great. I haven't used those potty people in a really long time, and I love them. They're great little accents when you're just not sure, this needs something, but I don't know what. Put a potty person on there because they're excellent for those sorts of things. Yeah, so that's that card. And I think I might be done now. Yep, I am done. So I'm just going to show you how I am kind of setting this up. I'm going to make a couple of changes between this and the photos that you'll see momentarily. And then I just kind of took out the other ones that I had done. They were still done in my basement. I didn't bring them up with me. But I just wanted to kind of see everything all together and see how it looks. And I like that, except that it's going to be switched. So, and there's a couple of things changed on it. But that's how the overall page looks. And then here are some close-ups. And so thanks so much for following along with my process this time, you guys. It was full of, it really does feel like it was an adventure this time because, you know, the lights went out and I had to change my venue and kind of lost my mojo for a little bit there, but ended up picking it back up again. So thanks for coming along with me for this one. Take care and have a great scrappy week.